Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today, we are going to be doing something.
That's right, folks. Tonight we are going to be making a portable chess set dungeon for ease in taking your miniatures and your games to other locations without needing a dry erase board and markers and stuff like that. You can try this if you're more into miniatures. Our good friend James L. gave us a whole bunch of 15 millimeter.
Way too many.
15 millimeter fantasy miniatures, along with some other miniatures that we're going to work on for another project later on down the road. But as you can see right here, we have a small party of adventuring characters. There's a wizard, a dwarf, that's a fighter, a hobbit, and there's the wizard. And I'm going to mount these to washers that are roughly 3/4 of an inch, because these squares are an inch and a half. But we've got these magnetic walls, and they're super simple to make. And as you can see, you could use them for 28 or 25 millimeter scale. I wish I would have kept the 25 millimeters down here. For those of you who do use them.
You probably need to use like 2 or 3.
Yeah, you could do that. That would work if you just glued them together.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually a bad idea, especially for specialized scenery. But let's just assume you guys want to go with 15 millimeter miniatures. He's going to be marking some stone patterns with just a good old fashioned pilot pen. I sprayed these gray and then gave him a black stripe across the top just to make it a little bit more interesting. And to glue these, I bought a whole bunch of, these are supposed to be 4 millimeter magnets, but unfortunately just one row of them isn't strong enough. So what I do...
You done goofed.
Yeah. Is I just put 3 drops of glue equally spread apart. And I do this once so that the super glue starts drying pretty rapidly. And if you put them any closer than that, they will pull together and stick to one another. And if you make a mistake, you got to take them off because they are polarized a certain way, and you don't want that. Also, don't keep the big stick of magnets in your hand because they will try to go back home, which is something you don't want. And just remember which side is up and which side is down. I've had some issues with that, and some of my walls that I made already repel each other and don't quite stick to the magnetic chessboard. And like the little guy said earlier today, you don't even have to mess with the magnets. You could just, put blocks if you want to save an extra $10, because then this project costs you $1. Otherwise, you're going to spend about $10 on the magnets. And then while these are drying, I'll go on to the next one, and then I'll put magnets on top of these magnets just to make it stronger. They are 1 millimeter in thickness, although I think that's a little generous. I think they're thinner than that. But then I'll do another one. And then while I'm doing that, then I'll put the glue back on these ones. 1, 2, 3. And a neat little trick I'll show you in a second that I learned. You will get super glue on your fingers doing this because you're gluing something so tiny. But, that's part of the craft, is getting super glue stuck to your fingers and things like that. Just like that, though. And then when you take the magnets off, watch this little trick. You don't even have to worry about it because they will just jump onto the other magnet if you do it right. So you don't have to worry about, ruining the whole project. Let's see what's that? Oops. You just put them like that and boom. It's almost like magic.
Make sure that you have them done properly before actually putting any glue on. Because otherwise you'll get stuff like this.
Where they repel each other, yeah. And then let them dry before you start.
Really, what I recommend is just only put one magnet on, but that might not always work.
And if you make a mistake and they repel each other, you can just chisel them off with a hard tap of a good blade, and then reverse them. Boom. Then there you go, 2 more. I'll leave these here to dry. Do you have any of these done? Yeah, you do. And let's start putting them on the chessboard.
I always need 2 minimum though, which is the only amount that I actually have done.
As you can see, you can make your hallways. Make your
See, these three stick together perfectly. See? Though that's because, sadly, they don't have the same amount of magnets, which is the reason why.
Yeah, there might be something to do with the number of magnets and the positioning that starts.
Actually, no, I think this is just a smaller block. They have the same amount of magnets.
Right, but the size might be causing some of the repulsion effect that we've noticed. I'm not sure exactly why.
But yeah, it is just the brick that's smaller. It's not the magnets. But yeah, this is... Whatever you did with this one, use it as an example. These 3.
Okay.
So I'm going to mark them with something specific. So
Put it on the underside.
No, I was going to do that.
And just right, okay. Because like I said, some of them are doing this weird repulsion thing. Here, I'll show you.
I just wrote 1, 2, and 3 on them.
They're pushing the magnets away, and I don't know why that is. They don't want to touch. But it seems to only mostly happen on the smaller blocks that I cut. These are like 3/4.
Okay, weird, because when you flip this one around, it doesn't work. Then you just flip it like this, and boom, it works.
Okay. Well, here, let's...
So, just read them like this, because it's 1, 2, and 3. So, put them together like this, they work perfectly fine. So, try to do what we're doing here, and find one set of 3 bricks that work perfectly, so that you can use them as an example for everything else, so that you have 2 that work, or 3, a full set that work properly. You can base whatever you did with those ones, do everything identical for the next ones. Also, maybe put something so you can tell which side they go, so yeah, that would be the other way. Obviously, you're not always going to want them to...
As you can see, you can build rooms. And it's basically just to get the 3D effect. And in part 2, which will be next week, we're going to make doorways and stairs and other, dungeon decorations, pit traps and things like that for this scale. And while I didn't yank the foam that holds the chess pieces out, because we wanted to keep this as a chess set, if you got one, you could easily fit all your miniatures, all your walls, and all your other things, even dice, all in the chess box here. And you'd have just, basically one-stop shop. You just carry this little box around. You've got your dungeon, you've got your miniatures, you've got your dice, the whole bit. And you could take these walls and draw other things on them. You could, make windows, or you could, draw shields, or, bookshelves or things like that. We should make some that look like bookshelves. Just paint them brown, and what do you think?
That would be annoying.
Yeah, it would be annoying, but it would look good if you did it right. But like I said, you could throw green slime hanging down the walls and all kinds of other little touches, and these Jenga sets cost about $1.25 at your local Dollar Tree or 99-cent store. Maybe they're more. I saw a video where somebody bought them at a 99-cent store and they were like $7, and with one set of the fake Jenga. I don't know where the box is, but
wooden tower game.
Yeah. You get a lot of walls. Here, let me see if I can pull this here without knocking these over. We still have all these left over, and we can make bookshelves, stairs, all kinds of walls, and as you can see, it would still pretty much fit in here very easily inside this box, and there'd be plenty of room for everything else. Are those done?
These 3, but I need 2 at least.
Okay, okay. So I can keep building the room.
You don't know why there's 2 different types of sizes?
Little mind flare. Oh, I cut them just in different sizes.
Well, you cut them?
Yeah, I did. Medusa.
That explains why.
By the way, these are from Splintered Light. That's their version of a beholder. I like it with. Did you notice that? It's got the eye stalks at the bottom.
Oh, that's super weird.
And I've got a bunch of.
Yeah, that explains why they're so uneven.
I've got some bugbears over here, a roper, an Etten, a nice little gargoyle, an Umber Hulk, and I was looking at the Splintered Light miniatures last night, and there are actually a good selection of not just 15mm fantasy Dungeons and Dragons type miniatures, but all kinds of historical and you name it. You got just about anything you could want from a nice company, especially if you want to go the 15mm route. It's very portable. They're not that hard to paint. Our good friend James L. made the genius suggestion. You primer them black, dry brush them white, and then you can go to town and do some pretty decent detail. Where's that bugbear? One I really like. Oh, right here. I don't know if you can focus in on that. This little guy right here. He's really not got a lot of detail, but he's got just enough. And what I really like about it is he's the old school Monster Manual version. The furry yellow bugbear looks like they looked right at the old Monster Manual to get what he looked to sculpt him. Got some shriekers over here, a roper. I imagine goblins and kobolds would be kind of. Like I said, here's a hobbit right here. This guy he's just tiny. But I was able to get some detail on him. I'm not done painting that one. But it wasn't as hard or challenging as I thought it was going to be. But it was actually a lot of fun to get to paint some miniatures really quick, and they still look good. I used almost... here, you want a new pen?
No, these things are fantastic.
Okay.
They can survive pretty much anything.
Okay. I used a lot of Army Painter speed paints and a little bit of Vallejo and Reaper miniature paint. But for the most part, it's just dry brushing and a little bit, obviously the contrast paint or speed paint is very helpful because it makes less work that you have to do. And when you're talking about 15mm miniatures,
How did I get super glue on my hands?
Possibly, if you took this one right here, the other one that went with it, they weren't done drying. Just are you done with this one?
Yes.
Okay. Put that wall there, but you can see you get yourself a nice little dungeon room, and you could obviously unfold the table and have bigger rooms if you need. It would have been nicer if we could have found a black and white wood chess set, but I looked, and the only thing I could find was plastic, and that was kind of crappy and cheap. This chess set, little guy likes chess a lot, so we're going to keep it as a chess set. But even then, to put all these walls and miniatures, you could find a nice little storage box at the dollar store for maybe $3 for one of the bigger ones that I use, or something less than that if money's an issue. But you're pretty much ready to go with very little work. As a matter of fact, I painted all these miniatures in 24 hours. Hope you missed this.
Sure. Oh, I did?
missed the other side.
That means I need.
And this one too, but it's not a big deal. They get the idea. It's simple. It's
It's
quick.
not finished. I need to finish it. We're not done yet. I think there's super glue everywhere now.
Party comes into their first encounter, and it's a Medusa.
Now they're all done. Nope, they aren't. They aren't.
Poor guy, OCD is a pain in the butt.
I'd say it's a bit more than that.
That actually looks pretty good, doesn't it?
I have to disagree.
Really?
Yeah, because you said it.
Kids these days, right? No respect. Nice click from the magnets. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with the way it looks. It'll be nicer when we have some stairs and doorways and, like I said, pit traps and spiked wall traps and things like that. Portcullis we can make with toothpicks and all kinds of cool stuff that just lets you. He missed one, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, it's the line flare. What is he doing over there? Swap places with the poor little hobbit. But I want to thank James L. for giving us this idea. And, of course, our friend Connell, the Cigar DM, also for helping us to put these two ideas together.
Only if he sees it, though.
Right. I'm sure he will, because I'll just send him a link to this video, make him watch it. That's
Also,
what I
you
gotta
should
do.
probably put lines here on these areas so that it's not just blank space.
Oh, yeah.
Which
But
I'm going to start doing now.
Okay. Because he's very much a detail-oriented guy.
Yes.
But that's it for us tonight. Sorry the video's late, but little guy... Actually, it wasn't even the little guy's fault this time. It was mine. My video ran late with the guys over at Table Breakers. The after dungeon chat went longer than I thought, so we couldn't get this video out to you. But we appreciate you playing along, and hopefully you'll put one of these together yourself and show off. Maybe you'll find something different than an actual chess set. But I really like the idea. If this one wasn't going to be dedicated to an actual chess set, I would tear out the insides and make little compartments for the walls and the miniatures and the dice, and it would be
Okay, I think I might be putting a bit too much pressure on this one.
Okay. Well, let's say goodnight and let everybody get back to their regularly scheduled programming. Anything else you want to add before we say goodnight?
Yeah, we want a Pilot Pen sponsorship.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah. Anybody out there from Pilot Pens? We absolutely love Pilot Pens. We've had fist fights over the last Pilot Pen before because he and I just absolutely love these pens. They've been my favorite pens for 20 years, especially the multicolored Pilots, the red, the blue, the pink, the green, the teal, etc. They're a lot of fun to work with, but okay, that's our end of our
Unneeded.
Our shameless appeal to the people at Pilot. Thanks for, like I said, playing along, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for the Sci-Fi Shadow Chat. And we'll have a couple of new guests, I think, but a couple old guests. But you'll have to see who those are tomorrow night.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm not going to say, but I'll tell you after the show who's going to show up.
That determines whether or not I show up.
So.
That's not true. It'll be something else that determines that. Anyways, that has been the Shadow and Sun Show. We hope you enjoyed. And
good night, everybody.
Good night.